Something that I love to say, and maybe I'll just say it on every single episode from here on out, is we're all the same, but we're all different. And as we're kind of getting ready for this episode, I thought about that more because I haven't explained really what that means. And I realized that I think it means on the outside, like we talked about earlier, we're all in different seasons, we're all doing different stuff. We've got different goals now. The great scattering has happened. And externally, a lot of our lives are very different now, which was not what we grew up with. And that's how I think we're all different. Not to mention just we're all unique individuals, our personalities and all that. But why I think we're all the same is actually on the inside. So we're different on the outside, but I think we're all very much the same on the inside because we all do fundamentally, I think, crave depth. We crave someone to ask us truly, how are you doing? And especially when it comes from a close friend, it just means a lot. Especially when, look, man, we're all dealing with stuff. Everyone's going through something. And when you get asked those questions that hit home with you based on kind of what you're going through, I think, it does make you feel like seen. And you realize also, just to go back to we're all the same, we're all different, but we're all the same. It's like that text. It's the same. It's if you got a text right now from a friend that you haven't seen, a close friend that you haven't seen or talked to much in a year, 2 years, how would that make you feel? You'd probably be pretty pumped, right? And again, just like, hey man, thinking about you, have a great day. And so it's like, do that more. Like, don't overcomplicate it. I think on the inside, especially like quarter lifer to quarter lifer, this stuff all gets taken to the next level because again, we're all going through different stuff, but internally, this is the whole root of quarter life clarity. We all know it's a shit show. We all know it's chaos. We all don't know what to do and are struggling in a million different ways. And internally we feel it, but externally we don't know how to say it and we don't know how to deal with it. And we go about our like automatic existences thinking that I'm the only one that feels this and is going through something. And you know what, Megan, I don't want to burden you by talking about it. And it's again, it's to tie it back to what we're talking about. It's the vulnerability, realizing that especially your close friends, your friends, you should be able to go to those places with them. And I think what's at risk is if you don't, your friendship can be at risk because I've felt the older you get, the more depth you crave. That's been my personal experience. And so if you're just staying on the surface, your friendship, your relationship with those people that you're staying on the surface with is in jeopardy. And so I think we need to be willing to go there and ask the questions and realize that we're all the same on the inside, but it does look different on the outside a lot of the time.
Yeah, that was such a good point. And something that I think about a lot is in life, there's so many incredible, joyful, awesome things that happen in life, but I think we also know and have experienced that at its best, life is extremely hard, and at its worst, it is just downright cruel. And so the people you have in your corner, the people you are surrounded by, the people that you can support and you can encourage and walk through life with can have such a tremendous impact on your experience and really lift each other up. Like we are called, as Jesus would call us, as people who we should rally around people and really hold each other up, bear each other's burdens and support each other. And yeah, that's one of the key pieces of friendship that we miss. Like, it's not all the rainbows and sunshine side of it. It's also like, I desperately need people to get through the craziness of life. And so that's why all this work is so important. It's not just about having a good time at the end of the day, it's also about being sustained for the long haul.
Yeah, and I think just a couple more thoughts on vulnerability. One, uh, recently, two of my best friends, we don't have deeper conversations, and so I was just kind of like, and I love them, and we have such a good time together, and I think guys would resonate with this maybe more than girls. I think girls talk to each other about real stuff way more. Guys, it's like, like let's just hang out, drink beers, and watch the game, and not talk about our feelings and stuff. It's weird. But especially with this whole thing, that the premise of core life clarity and what we're doing, having deeper conversations, I almost kind of felt like a hypocrite by the two people that I'm kind of closest with. I'm not having those conversations with them. And I think why I bring that up is because I did just say, hey guys, I just want to say that we should be willing to go there sometimes. I'm not saying like let's still do the dumb stuff that we do and have fun. I need that escape, so to speak, and just I love that. But I think there's a whole other side of the coin of our relationship that we're missing out on, and I just don't want to see the relationship fail down the line. I'm not saying now, but in 10 years when we have a wife, kids, when life gets more hectic, I don't know, like I don't want that to I don't want that to be us. And so, I think a lot of guys especially are there where they have these close friends, but we're getting older, we're craving some of that depth, we're not talking about it. And what I'm saying is just say it. Like, hey guys, I'm just saying, like, I'm breaking the ice on just the fact that we can actually talk about the real stuff that we're going through, because we're all going through it in our own ways. And I want to support you and support each other. Like, when you give me a call, when we talk, when we hang out, I'm just saying that I'm here for you, and I'm willing to go there if you need it. Right. And they very quickly both said also that it's like, yeah, like we know. Yeah, we don't really talk about real stuff. And it was a beautiful moment. And fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. Like, I was kind of nervous going into that because we don't do that. But I think that's just a little bit of a testimony to, I think, again, we're all the same, but we're all different. Don't be afraid to have the conversation. To just, again, we're talking about having better friendships, having deeper relationships. We know we all want to go there, but it's getting over the fear of actually going there.
Yeah, I think it's a key part of being known, like having superficial conversations and interactions. I mean, it's part of life too. I love, shooting the breeze. Like, that's a good time as well, but it doesn't really achieve the goal of being known, like it doesn't separate you from the pack. Like the fact that you listen to this particular music or follow the sports team, I mean, it's somewhat of an identifier, but it doesn't really get to the core of what's going on inside. So, yeah, I think contending for those deeper conversations is super important in allowing us feel known, like we were talking about before, that internal loneliness of not truly being known, even though you're around people. So, deep conversations really help open that up as well, open us up to being known, rather.
Yeah, and I think something that I personally do, and this is, I'm just being honest, it's probably not, I know it's not great, but I think when we're talking about vulnerability and actually being there for your friends, and something I do sometimes is like you're getting that call from that friend, and you're doing something, you're busy, and it's like, you hesitate for a minute. It's like, this better be good. You know what I mean? Like, this better be good. This better fill up my cup. He better have something for me. This better not just be like a, hey, let's shoot the breeze type conversation. And I think, I don't know, that's just a personal story. I don't know if other people feel that too, but it ties into everything we're talking about of the time, the busyness, and also just making room for your friends. Which reminds me of a video I saw recently of Simon Sinek talking about a situation with one of his friends where she was talking about how she was going through a really tough time, and previously before they got together she had texted him like a bunch of times, like randomly, like come over, like hang, let's, you want to hang out, all this stuff. And in the moment he's sitting there as she's explaining the tough time that she's been going through, and he's like, what the hell, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, what do you mean? I told you, like, let's hang out, let's do this, let's like come over. And he's sitting there like, what? That's not a cry for help. Like, that doesn't that's just like, how is that different than everything else you've done? And what they landed on, which is backed up in research, is that when someone is struggling, all they need is 8 minutes of help or support from a friend to get back on track, to have a good rest of the day, whatever that means. And so they came up with a code of texting, hey, do you have 8 minutes? And I share that because I think in a weird way it does tie into my best friend calling me and me being like, kind of just like sighing and this better be good and it better not take a long time because I got shit to do. But I think, hey, do you have 8 minutes? It's that vulnerability, like, hey, I need you. And I think if it's a two-way street thing, because one, you have to be willing to say, hey, I need to be vulnerable with you for 8 minutes, for just a little bit, because I'm struggling right now. And the other person saying, yeah, obviously, if you're struggling, I'm going to have time for you. But I think the time, I don't even know if this is making sense right now, but it's, for me, it's if I will always be there if it's something like real, like if you're really going through it, man, like I will drop everything. But what I'm also saying is if it's not, then I don't know if I have the time for you. And I just share that because that's right or wrong. I think it's kind of something that I've found myself in. But I think that, hey, do you have 8 minutes? I think a lot of your friends would say yes, 100%. Obviously, if you're going through something, I always have 8 minutes for you. And I think opening that door for communication around this to avoid the lack of connection, lack of vulnerability, and talking to our friends about what we're going through, that kind of cuts right through, hey, I need to talk.